Arguably, the most important thing when buying a family car is value for money, and that is exactly what the Vauxhall Astra has offered for more than 4 decades now. Now, in its 8th generation, we're confident that the new Vauxhall Astra is bolder and more value for money than ever before. Hi, my name's Tish and I'm an independent motoring journalist, and I'm here at Underwoods Vauxhall in Colchester to show you around the all-new Vauxhall Astra. If you wanted to find out my thoughts and opinions, then make sure you also check out my video, which will be dropping at the beginning of August. So let's talk about the new styling of the Vauxhall Astra. Recently taken over by the Stellantis group, the all-new Vauxhall products really are striking. First came the all-new Vauxhall Mocha, followed by the all-new Vauxhall Crossland, and finally the Grandland. Now it's time for the Astra, an iconic Vauxhall product. And doesn't it look just as striking as the products that have come before it? Just like those previous products, it now gets Vauxhall's front visor at the front of the car, a little bit like a pair of funky sunglasses. It gives it a striking and distinctive look. The model that we have here is actually the GS line, and both the GS line and the top spec Ultimate car get a black pack, which means you get black front badges, a black roofline, and also black badges on the back to give it that stealthy and stylish look. It looks like it means business. The sharper edges and more muscular style certainly bring out a whole new attitude for the Astra. The new fin headlights also give it a futuristic feel. Around the back, those slim LED front headlamps have been mirrored in the rear lights with a similar design. You also have a very cool rear brake light, which actually looks a little bit like a Formula 1 car. Now on the new generation of Astra, Vauxhall badge doubles up as a boot opening, revealing a seriously competitive amount of boot space. Inside the petrol and diesel cars, you'll find 422 litres. One of the most impressive in the hatchback class. The new Astra may have been developed under a new group of Stellantis, but that doesn't mean they haven't forgotten about the long history of the Vauxhall Astra. They've actually incorporated just a little homage back to the Mark I, and it's here on the rear quarter. This little triangle with the little indents has actually been taken from the original Mark I Astra. All versions of the Vauxhall Astra get alloy wheels as standard. The entry-level cars get 16-inch wheels. Going for the GS line upgrades them to 17 inches. And if you go for the top spec car, you'll get 18-inch wheels as standard. Our version of the GS line in the showroom has actually had upgraded to 18s from the standard 17s, and they come in a slightly funkier design with red accents to match the paintwork. Vauxhall have listened to their customers, and previously the feedback was that the model lineups could be a little bit confusing, so now they've streamlined them to just 3 models. You have the entry-level design, which comes with front and rear parking sensors, cruise control, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Stepping up to the GS line gives you some sportier styling, some larger wheels. You also get adaptive cruise control, keyless entry, heated seats and a heated steering wheel. Going for the ultimate specification at the top of the lineup gives you pretty much everything you could want. You get a sunroof, you also get adaptive LED front headlamps, and you even get a more powerful sound system. The 8th generation Vauxhall Astra is actually only 4mm longer than the outgoing model, so if you own a previous generation car, you're not going to find it too much bigger on the road. The wheelbase, however, has been increased by 13mm, which is going to give you far more interior space and boot space. Space in the back is more than comfortable. I'm around 5'5" and I've got a good amount of headroom and also a decent amount of legroom. Amenities are also good as well. You've got a pull-out armrest with 2 cup holders and somewhere to pop your mobile phone. You also get a ski hatch for loading longer items. Back here I've also got a USB-C charge port and 2 ISOFIX fitment sections, which they're popped behind zips, which mean they shouldn't get dirty and you won't lose any of the fitments. The previous generation Vauxhall Astra was not necessarily known for standing out, but you'll have no such trouble in the all-new Astra. If you wanted to stand out from the crowd, then it comes in three pretty bright striking colours. You've got this, the wonderful crimson red. You also have the very exciting electric yellow. And you've also got the wonderful cobalt blue. All of these colours are accentuated further if you go for the top spec models, which get the black front visor, the black badges and the contrasting black roof. The interior is now ultra smart to match that of the exterior. You've got the fantastic Pure panel that has been featured in some of the new Vauxhall products. This displays you a digital instrument cluster, but also a nice clear infotainment screen as well. But it's good to note that in the all-new Astra, compared to some of its rivals like the Volkswagen Group, it still gets a lot of nice physical buttons. Below the infotainment screen, you've got shortcuts for your heated seats, for your climate control, and also for your heated steering wheel. Vauxhall have really focused on practicality and also storage space in the all-new Astra. After all, this has always been a staple family car, and they want to continue to make it that way, despite it not being an SUV like some people are turning towards. It does get a full-size glove box, rather than the previous generation which actually has the fuse box inside, so you can fit much more inside the glove box. The door bins are also really generous as well and can get a big size water bottle in there. Below the infotainment screen, you've got a little hidden away cubby which you can put your sunglasses in. Below that, you also have a larger section which has a wireless charging pad on some of the higher spec cars, but a decent amount of storage. You've also got the cup holders here, which actually features 3 cup holders. Or if you go for the automatic, you do get a little section which you can tidy those away. Inside the armrest, it's split in 2, and once again, you've got a really deep amount of storage space. The all-new Astra might share a lot with the new Peugeot 308, but something it does get that the Peugeot doesn't is the option of a manual gearbox. If you go for the entry-level design car, then you can get a 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol with 110 brake horsepower paired together with a 6-speed manual gearbox. If you wanted a little bit more power, you can upgrade this engine to a 1.2 with 130 brake horsepower, and this engine comes as standard on both the GS line and the Ultimate car, and again is available in a 6-speed manual but also an 8-speed automatic. If you like your performance that you get from a diesel but you also like to have that fuel economy, then great news, a diesel is still available and you can get a 1.5 litre diesel with a similar output to the petrol's 130 brake, and this will see you fuel economy in excess of around 45 to 50 miles per gallon. The last option is a plug-in hybrid. If you're doing short journeys and you want a more powerful engine, then you can go for the plug-in hybrid. This gets a 1.6 litre petrol engine paired together with an electric battery, and they produce 180 brake horsepower and also mean that the all-new Astra can drive for 37 miles in pure electric. The engineers at Vauxhall have fine-tuned their own steering parameters, suspension dampener settings and anti-roll bar configurations in a bid to give the Astra a different feel from the likes of the 308. As well as this, it's now 13% more torsionally rigid than the previous model, and that means it's far more comfortable on our British roads. At low speeds, it soaks up bumps in the road relatively well, but at high speeds, it's also super smooth and comfortable. It's quite clear from driving it that Vauxhall have made some really big changes to the drive of the Astra. At low speeds, it's got well-weighted steering, but it's also very easy to manoeuvre around town. That 8-speed gearbox is nice and smooth, and it makes it a delight to drive at low speeds. Once you get out onto the motorway, it's refined enough that you don't hear too much tyre noise, even with the 18-inch wheels which are fitted to this Ultimate car. It's also responsive, and the steering becomes a little bit more weighted and you feel in control. The all-new Astra doesn't disappoint in all the areas we've come to expect. It's practical, it's comfortable, and it also gets a good level of standard specification. However, now in its 8th generation, it's more stylish and striking than ever before. If you did have any more questions or queries about the all-new Astra, or if you wanted to get behind the wheel of one, then make sure you get in contact with Underwoods today. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.